Hey everybody, I'm CJ and welcome back to Bibles on a Budget. Today we are taking a look at the NIV Reader's Bible from Zondervan. So, this is a Reader's Bible, and you're probably thinking, what is a Reader's Bible? Well, a Reader's Bible is designed to offer a seamless reading experience so that you're not interrupted by verses or chapter numbers that are just right there. You're not seeing everything as broken up, but you're seeing it almost as if the way that the Bible was originally. Because some people may not know this, but our Bibles used to not have, a long time ago, they used to not have chapters or verse markings. The chapters came first, the verses came later, but the readers kind of almost allow us to return to those days where we didn't have chapters or verse numbers. Now, this Bible actually does have chapter numbers, but they're in the margins, and I'll show you that when we get inside. But let's take a look at the outside real quick. So this is the cloth overboard hardback edition of this Reader's Bible. Some of these versions of the Bible that are Reader's Bibles come in different covers, different colors. All my Reader Bibles that I have are all hardback, but they look really awesome. This one is from Zondervan. There's also one in the New King James Version from Thomas Nelson. But I love this color. I love the gray, and I love the mustardy yellow. My version did come with a little bit of damage here, but that's what I got, and I'm okay with it. I'm not bothered by it. It is hardback, so it's possible to get some damage there. But let's look now at the spine of the Bible, and I'm going to turn it this way because the spine, the way it's designed, is everything. The words are kind of laid out. Let me show you how it normally looks when you hold it this way. So it kind of goes down. So you're able to kind of see it this way if I turn it horizontal. So it says NIV. There's a little line there to mark it. Reader's Bible. And again, NIV. And there's Zondervan. And nothing on the back except for the super hard to read. Let me see if I can get it in the picture. That's the ISBN. But you probably can't see that because it's just like, it looks really small and it blends in with the gray, which is unfortunate. But some people don't like having their ISBNs on the back of their Bible. So there you go. All right, so let's get inside this super cool Bible. But also, you probably saw it, has no gilding. The Reader Bibles, especially these hardback versions, do not have gilding, and it does come with this kind of tan-ish ribbon. I think this is a single-sided satin, but if somebody else has this and can actually verify that better for me, then please go ahead. Let's pop into this Bible real quick here. So when you first open up the Bible, you are introduced to this super cool pattern. Let me try to get this more in the frame. Super cool pattern. Looks super futuristic, kind of techno. I love it. It's really cool. I love what a lot of these Bibles do. A lot of these Bible publishers do nowadays. All right, so here's the title page, NIV Reader's Bible, designed for a seamless reading experience, and you'll see that in a minute. But here we have kind of your traditional Bible stuff here. Copyright page, your publisher's page right here. And you got the contents, an invitation, which is just basically telling you a little bit about the Reader's Bible. And then you have the list of the Old and New Testament books here. And then down here, pages 1970 and 1971, you have weights and measures and a word about the New International Version. That was a brain fart. Oops. All right. So let's look at that invitation. So here's an introduction to the New International Version Reader's Bible. And something that I want to point out to you guys is how cool this Bible is. So let's look at this second paragraph. You can pause it real quick if you want to read the whole thing. But I want to look at especially this part of this paragraph right here, because this kind of explains the Bible itself, and it looks really cool. So it says, sometimes you may want to study the Bible. Other times you may just want to simply read and get lost in the story. That is what the NIV Reader's Bible is designed to help you do. Savor a seamless reading experience. The single column Bible text is set in a highly readable 10.3 point size Carmina typeface. So this is not their comfort print, but this is a highly readable 10.3 size font. Chapter numbers have been removed from within the text and instead set apart in the margins, and you'll see that in a second. Verse numbers are removed altogether. So that's something that the reader Bibles do, is that they remove the verse numbers in many cases, remove them altogether so that you're not distracted. So it looks kind of like this, right? There's obviously this is not Bible, but it looks like this. You don't see any verse numbers, right? These changes allow your eyes to read without distraction, yet the chapter numbers in the margins serve as a reference should you desire to discover what chapter you're in. Thicker white paper increases readability, as does this specially formatted NIV that employs line-on-line printing, which eliminates words on one side of a page ghosting through to the other side. Most importantly, this Bible breaks the text up not by chapters, but instead by major sections or narrative breaks, or narrative break. This subtle change has high impact. You will find yourself reading longer and becoming engrossed in the story of Scripture. So that's the whole purpose of this Bible. So let's actually take a look at that real quick. So here's the title page for the Old Testament, and here we are in Genesis. So you can kind of get an idea of the format here, and you kind of see there are no verse numbers, right? Usually you'll see them in the text, or if it's a verse by verse, like the NIV Preaching Bible that we reviewed recently, you will see that they're usually on the side. Nothing. Now, obviously, there's also no chapter number in the margins, because we all know when you start out with Genesis, you're starting out with chapter 1. Also, a nice little pop of color here is this light blue for the title of the book and for the page number. And you'll also see that, if I go to the next page, you will also see that for these up here. They didn't mention these in that paragraph, but this just kind of tells you and gives you a general range of where you're at. So the top here starts with Genesis 1:23 and ends with Genesis 2:7, and then the same thing over here, so you can kind of get an idea of where you're at. Now let me show you those margin chapter numbers that they're talking about. So if you look here, you'll see there's a little 2. Let me try to get that straight for you guys. And you'll see that also over here, right there. And they're also picked out in blue, which is really nice. But again, no verse numbers. And these quotes are kind of like in their own little space. But it's super readable, very large print. So again, 10.3. Looks very, very nice. Now, let me show you a really cool feature about this Bible. So they actually have translator notes, but let me show you where those translator notes actually are. Here they are. They are at the end of the book. So let me go back here. So you'll see, and you can kind of see where they're at, chapter 1, and it goes all the way to chapter 50 for Genesis, but you can kind of see there's these little letters. It's really hard to see, but you probably can see that, where it says probable reading of the original Hebrew text, Syriac, Masoretic, the earth, and so on. So you only have that. You have this in the back. That's the only textual note. But you have all these textual notes here where they added them and stuff. So that's kind of cool. So this also helps with the reading, because you're just reading. But this is kind of what some books do as well. They may have, little letters or these little symbols that will point you to the back of the book, and that will give you like footnotes and other things about what you just read. So that's very cool. All right, so let's go to something like prose. Sorry, not prose, poetry. So we're going to go to Psalms, and here's the Psalms. The Psalms looks just like the Psalms. It looks like a poetry book, which is really cool. Again, the chapters obviously are rendered as Psalms, whatever it may be. So let's go to one of the most famous Psalms here, which is Psalms 23 in the NIV. Kind of see if I can get there. So here's Psalms 23, and again, no verse numbers. So obviously, when they wrote these Psalms, when they wrote those stories down, no verses. We added the verses later on in the 1600s, or sorry, not the 1600s, but the 16th century. but no verses. But you do have something that will tell you that this is Psalms number 23, and then it also tells you that this is a Psalm of David. But I don't think it will give you like all that other information. Oh, actually it does. Okay, so it gives you a little quote, tells you for the director of music to the tune of the doe of the morning. So it's kind of like a traditional Bible, but no verses. So that's really cool. Now let's go over to the New Testament, and here again, here's another example of kind of like poetry stuff, but you do have the chapter numbers there. Let's go over to the New Testament, and you'll see that this is also a black letter text. So there's no red letter. So again, it reads like just a traditional book. In traditional books, there is no special color that picks out certain things. So they don't do that in this. They don't do that in this, just like they didn't do it in the NIV Preacher's Bible. Now, if I go to the back, again, this is like the Preacher's Bible. You will find, if I go to 1970, page 1970, you will see the tables of weights and measures. You also get the preface and the explanation of the NIV. It's not really a preface, but it's kind of more of an explanation. So a word about the NIV, which is, it's more than a word. But so here's the table of weights and measures, pretty similar to the previous Bible we looked at, the Preacher's Bible. So again, got tables of weights and measures. You got weights, length, capacity, dry measure, and liquid measure. And again, biblical unit, approximate American unit, and approximate metric unit, and then some explanation down here. And then finally, this cool design at the end again. So, what do I think about this Bible? First of all, I love cloth overboard hardback Bibles. They're awesome. So this Bible is also Smythe sewn, as far as I'm aware of. The Preacher's Bible is also, if I remember correctly, Smythe sewn as well. So this will last you a little while. Obviously, this will probably be something that you'll keep at your home, unless you want to take it to a park or a beach or somewhere that's really quiet or something, and you can read there. I really love the color. I love the spine. The spine is super cool. And I love what they're doing here, that they're trying to give readers a seamless experience with the Word of God. Because sometimes, if we're not careful, because of verse by verse or just traditional versing and stuff, we can take things out of context, especially when we're studying. But this is not meant for studying. This is just straight up Bible text. This is just for you to read it. That's why they put the textual footnotes at the end, so you can just read the Bible. So you can just read it and experience it and take it in. And I think that's how God really wants us to read it too, is just read, right? And study, but read it as well, so we can get the context and then we're able to understand it. So again, if you're a fan of the NIV, you love hardback Bibles, you're looking for a Bible, an NIV that you can just straight up read like a novel. If you're somebody who loves to read, you love the Bible, but you're looking for a more seamless experience, here you go. This Bible right here is what I would recommend. Check it out. There may be other covers, so just look it up. You can check on Christian books. You can probably even find it on Zondervan's store. Just look for that as well. I'll probably try to put those in the description below, those links, so you can check that out. But thank you guys so much for watching this review by Bibles on a Budget. And remember, the truth does not have to be expensive. See you guys in the next one. Have a good day.